Hi, welcome to the Heart of Illumination. I'm Joseph. Thanks for being here for today's message and transmission. Remember, take what resonates and leave the rest. Today's channel message is actually very simple, and it's something, and hopefully, I'm just expressing what you're already feeling, what your heart is already speaking to you, and maybe you've been thinking about it in bits and pieces and so forth. And so, as I go through my journey and experience what I'm experiencing and went through my own journey of self-discovery, healing, coming into wholeness, and continue to walk a path of life mastery, I realized that we are an intricate piece in a grand puzzle or a tapestry, and we're essential, right? We're essential for what we came into this life to bring about and create, right? So we all have a something called life's work or body of work, right? And I want to share a very neutral or very stable perspective about our body of work, right? And some call it dharma, right? And our body of work is just us being naturally attuned to our own rhythm and then creating from this natural rhythm, or being in this natural rhythm, or radiating from this natural rhythm, right? So it's either just living as who we are as embodied human beings. When we radiate, right, we are walking, talking, energetic, magnetic, like vibrational fields, right? So who we are at our core and how we've cultivated ourselves, right, in various aspects of life, right, and in various internal aspects that we've integrated and converted them into facets that we're aware of and that we continue to integrate, right? It's like transmitting out. That's who we've become and who we're becoming. And then the things that we actively create in the world to materialize from, our ideas that, yes, we get from the divine, to when we actually create it with our hands, right? It could be as simple as just writing in a notebook an idea that's coming through, to the building, the creating, the scaling of that specific idea into the reality of people, places, and things, right? And so we naturally have a body of work that comes with when we're born and when we leave this body, right? So we all naturally have a body of work, and also we're connected to other people in our society, in our where we choose to live, right? The culture we choose to associate with, and we're a part of this global community of not just humans, but other living things, the elementals, right? The various things that make up the whole earth and the earth herself. And each external component or another person will have their own body of work, which has, right, these three components, right? And so we're here to relate to each other, right? It's I see you, I hear you, I feel you, I am present for you. And it's the same that person can see me, hear me, feel me, and be present for me, and can help me, and I can help them give and receive, and be in this dynamic of giving and receiving constantly, right? And so because we're naturally relating beings, right? We're relating energies, right? We're relating fields of energy, we're relating beings, then another person's body of work is inevitably tied to my body of work, right? And our body of work is inevitably tied to the greater community's body of work. And then you can scale it up to the nation, to the region, to right all of humanity and the entire world, right? Entire Earth as an organism, right? What I do, what other people do, it's either in the benefit of Earth or not. And so when we can think in this way and start tuning into our own body of work, how what I'm bringing forth into the world connects, kind of just plug into what someone else is doing. And we might not have full clarity of the entire tapestry, right, of everyone's life and what they're here to create, but we start getting more clarity. We start getting more clarity about our own body of work. We start getting clarity of another person's body of work. We start getting clarity on, oh, how do we relate? And right, we start seeing all these threads of, oh, this person, right, Elon Musk is creating an electric car, right? And created an electric car, and there's an entire ecosystem that is continuing to evolve with electric cars. Yet, so as an individual person, I can support this work of, this work of eliminating carbon-based vehicles or carbon-based machinery going forward by supporting, right, initially, right, but by buying an electric car from Tesla or from another electric car company and making a conscious choice to do so. Yet this is not just a one-off choice, right? What I already said is, oh, basically, we're moving away from any vehicle or machinery that will be carbon-based. And this is just the initial step, right? Because there's a lot of vehicles on the road, and they were predominantly based only half a decade ago, right? So now we're beginning to make some serious progress about using electric cars and stuff. So as my own body of work, just making that choice and realizing a greater vision of, oh, I'm already plugged into a future to the greater body of work of humanity, of becoming less dependent on fossil fuels, on any energy system that would pollute our environment, our air, our environment, or or have some sort of an environmental cost, right? And so that's just a small example. And so there are also, in the spiritual community and realm, there are lots of people, that have different skills, different gifts, different dharma, and what they're bringing into our age as well. And so we can also work on our own body of work that is inclusive of spirituality, and that includes what we can share with others in terms of spiritual wisdom, maybe practices, techniques, and so forth, as well as plug into other people's body of work. Maybe they work in a grander scale. For example, Matthias De Stefano, he is, well, his resume is like very long, but one of the core things that he's done in the past, right, is reactivating the planetary network, and he goes around different countries, different locations in the world, tuning into his guides and his team to reactivate various points of the energetic grid on the Earth. So, that's the level of extent I know about his work on that. But currently he has just initiated the alchemy path that will be going on for the next 3 years, which started on January 11th of this year, and it'll be going on for the next 3 years, just for one of the sections. And then there'll be another 2 sections, that's another 3 years, another 5 years, and so forth. But yet, right, so his body of work is tremendous, right? The things that he's already done, and this alchemic path that he's focusing on right now and guiding others, that I'm a part of, and that I plug into his body of work and help that to come into fruition over the next several years, as well as I'm building my own, right? Building my own teaching and my own projects to be supportive of what he's doing, as well as other healers and guides and leaders and so forth, as we, collectively bring about a more beautiful world, our heart's desire. And that specific phrase comes from Charles Eisenstein, another person and author that I resonate with, where I read his book, A More Beautiful World, Our Heart's Desire, a while back, and I might not remember everything that he wrote, but when I found out about his book, it's just hit a chord with me, and I finished reading the book, and I kind of absorbed the essence of that book, and I still resonate deeply with a lot of the core things that he shared. Yet I know that that book was more about a vision and sharing, right, and sowing the seeds of what could be. And then Matthias is helping to create this world through this alchemy path. And I'm coming into greater clarity on how I can contribute to help create part of this piece that's needed. And so are you, and so are others. So this specific message is just, yes, you're important, you're needed. Your piece, we don't care about how small or big, right? It's not about that, because your piece is important. Your body of work is important, and it'll connect to my body of work. It'll connect to other people's body of work. And we're no longer operating on, comparison, right? Because each of these pieces is needed, and only you can bring about the piece that you're bringing through your own body of work, and only I could bring about my own body of work and the piece that I create that plugs into the collective, right? This more beautiful world that we're all collectively assembling with this body of work that comes from our essence, right? That comes from our ever-refining essence to create from coherence, and then it becomes ideas, physical reality, and maybe a story, which is a little bit in between, so that it sows more of this idea, more of this clarity for others to jump on board and follow and tune into. They might not have all the clarity. Nobody might have the clarity initially on how this path goes. That's why we need to keep walking it together so that it unfolds. So that's the message that's coming through. So yes, whatever feeling you have, whatever inkling you have, you might have various downloads that could feel conflicting at times, or might overload you at times, or might seem contradictory, or just might not be fully clear in this moment. But yet, maybe because it's not clear right now, because you're still refining the various aspects within you, so that enough of it becomes facets that you've integrated these important aspects that are essential to you, to your master aspects of heart, mind, will, soul, so that you become coherent and can create your body of work from this place of coherence, and keep remaining in coherence, so that this piece gets refined and that it'll effortlessly fit in to this grand tapestry that we're all building, creating together, weaving together. And so if you feel frustrated or feel confused or feel, not, demotivated from this lack of clarity or from this bombardment of transmission and download, or feeling unstable at times, know that you're not alone. Know that it's part of the refinement process. Know that whatever you bring about into the world, right? Either if it is to just refine your being so that your presence is already the gift and it's your body of work to be here, great. Know that the ideas that come through you as you go through this refinement is a gift, and know that because you went through this refinement, you're radiating something. You're radiating a frequency, a magnetic pulse. Your heart is beating, right? So you're at least radiating that vibration from your heart, and whatever level of alignment and coherence you become, you're sending that out wherever you go. And then yes, as you go through this, whatever you create, right? It could be a story, a movie, it could be organizations, it could be businesses, it could be like a architecture, right? A building, right? Or it could be an entirely new system of being, right? On how we go into the future or in the metaverse. They're all welcome, right? When you do it from coherence, then it'll be an essential piece for this grand tapestry of a more beautiful world our hearts truly know it's possible. And so yeah, so you're not alone. We are in a way stewards of this beautiful world that we're creating. Yes, some people call it New Earth, some people call it other things. It doesn't really matter, right? Because we're all creating this wonderful world that we are already in. Like just the fact that we are receiving these thoughts, ideas, concepts, we're refining ourselves to prepare for this world. We're already there. So it is just part of this unfoldment, part of the realization. So so I hope this message comes through to help at least give you a moment of peace, a moment of certainty, a moment of appreciation and gratitude for you being here and bringing in your body of work. And thank you for supporting a part of my body of work so that we can continue to grow the tribe of us loving creators and creating this beautiful world. So I hope you like this message. Hit the like button, make a comment, and share it with others that resonate with this message. Feel free to subscribe to this channel for more messages and transmissions, as well as teachings and more clarity of this world that we're building. As they come to me, I will share them with you. So until next time.